This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
And we're back at Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. With me is Ken and Kyle, and I'm Cody.
Hello.
I did it again. I did that same intro last week. I look at Ken and he throws me off. That's what it is. I need to focus on Kyle.
And
You're
we're
nothing.
back.
Everyone.
I thought we were getting rid of that too.
I know. Sorry. It's
And we're back.
become like second nature now.
I don't know if there's anything bad about that. It's a good little
Maybe I should add
jumper.
like a bam. We're back.
whammo.
B words.
We're back. We're back, baby.
Yeah.
Great
so,
start. Great
yeah.
start.
Let's just fumble through the intro and we'll get into the meat of the potatoes of the podcast.
Yeah, that's what people want. The meat and potatoes.
Yeah. Just give them what they want, Cody.
We're just going to gloss over a couple upcoming release changes and then talk about the No Time to Die trailer. And then, we're going to talk Tenet. It's going to be full of spoilers. Maybe not, because we don't know what we're talking about and we don't know what we saw, but it was awesome. Ken doesn't know what he saw.
Wait until you see the movie, because everyone that listens to our podcast is going to support their theater. Go see the movie, buy tickets, buy concessions, and then listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
If you're listening to it now, just savor it. Savor Tenet on its own, then come back.
They can listen to the changes in the release schedule and our thoughts on the No Time Left to Die trailer.
Why are we having this conversation now?
Yeah.
Let's just
Okay,
get into
let's get into it. Okay. Release schedule changes. Snake Eyes moved from October of 2020 to October 2021.
So is that a re-release of the Nicolas Cage Snake Eyes?
No,
I think you
forgot
wish it
he
With
is.
Gary Sinise?
definitely
Focused
would.
on a heist?
I think you
No.
wish it is, but
Isn't it
that
a
is-
G.I. Joe spinoff?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I might still like it then.
Yeah. Then
It's supposed to be action-packed.
Then Fatherhood moved out of October of this year to April of 2021. And Clifford the Big Red Dog got put on the release schedule for next year. There was some talk it would be this year, but it is next year on Clifford. So, how was the No Time to Die trailer? Awesome?
Awesomer than awesome.
Awesomer than awesome.
I thought so anyway.
Yeah.
I really dug it.
Me too. I really wanted a big action movie, and that looks so good. It looks so realistic, too. Like, they don't look over-the-top CGI action set pieces. They look like they could really happen.
Well, it also doesn't look boring because the last Bond movie, what was it, Spectre, was incredibly dull. I do not remember a thing from that movie. And here it looks like it'll actually be memorable and enjoyable, and, it will have that realism, but it also will, have that tongue-in-cheek type of fun with Bond and his gadgets, so I'm here for it. What the heck?
I like how Bond is surrounded by kick-butt women in this trailer.
A lot of them.
I mean, they're all, like, kicking ass, and he's just there, taking names.
I'm pumped to see Ana de Armas.
He's there with a list. Take a name.
With a list, falling behind. And that one...
Please
that
be
one-
seated.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's funny because one of those women is supposed to be like the replacement 007.
Yeah.
And there was that controversy way back when.
Oh, gosh. That
with
feels like
her-
forever ago.
I know. I remember us talking about it on the podcast too, like that controversy, and it was all a big deal that, oh no, she's taken over the mantle, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Not actually, but sort of is. And now no one even remembers that.
No, didn't even come up, which
Nope.
is great. Like, let's move on, move beyond that kind of silliness and just enjoy the fact that there's like a real movie on the horizon.
Yeah. Bond's still there. It's
Yep.
all right.
It's all there, still gonna
It'll
be
be
there at
okay.
Thanksgiving. We've got hope.
Yep. Since the first Daniel Craig Bond trailer with Casino Royale, I really put these trailers on a pedestal. Like, these are like the best of the best as far as trailers. The way they trailer these Bonds with him are some of the best. And then this like took it up to a whole nother level where it's like, oh, we'll just show every major action piece from the movie in 2.5 minutes. They're looking to really get
glimpses.
people excited.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not too much being shown, but you never know. It could be tasteful.
No, and Rami
Tastefully done trailer.
Rami Malek looks so scary as the bad guy.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I thought for sure he would just play a bad Freddie Mercury, but he actually played a
he still has the teeth.
Completely different character. It looked like he might have had the teeth, actually, a little bit.
He wasn't allowed to take it off. It was conflicting with his schedule.
They were permanently adhered on.
They did them in between takes on Bohemian Rhapsody, so it's like the Henry Cavill mustache.
Mustache all over again. But yeah, nonetheless, I love the cast. I love the look of this movie. I'm ready for Bond to be exciting again and not like Spectre.
No. Should we talk about our classics and fun corners right now and then do all the Tenet spoilers?
Or we can wait until
the end?
What do you think, Ken?
We always do it at the end.
Okay, we'll wait till the end.
You're going to change the formula that's gotten us millions and millions of listeners and change it right now mid-podcast?
I was feeling a little crazy. Thought we should go in reverse.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Cody's trying to go reverse cowgirl here. Let's put it back on track, cowgirl.
Well, that's not what I was thinking, but okay.
That's not where I was going with it. But
Ken zagged instead of zigged. I see how it is.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Sorry. I saw
way off the deep end
I saw a 4-year-old sitting on the toilet backwards this morning. So that's. Or I guess he's 5 now, but he was backwards on the toilet this morning, and that was burned into my brain.
You're like, oh, that's something.
That's one way to do that.
He wanted to do it the fun way, I think is what he said.
All right.
Okay.
Tenet time.
Kyler,
do your best.
Oh, wait, spoiler alert, we are going to talk very specific things about the movie. So if you've not seen it, I would just
on you.
Turn it off now.
True.
Just turn it off.
You've had 4 days. Shame on you.
Kyle saw it, Monday?
First showtime, pretty much.
First showtime on Monday. Ken and I snuck out on a Thursday at 11:30 and went and saw it. So
you guys did sneak out after a while. I was like, where did they go? Like, I didn't even think that you guys went to the movie. And then,
yep.
Sure enough.
It was awesome. So we'll start with Kyle and what he thought since he saw the first screening.
Ooh, what did I think? I really enjoyed it a lot. It's almost exactly what you're hoping for out of a Nolan movie. You're not quite sure what you're in for, and throughout the whole movie, you're still not sure what you're in for, but you love it anyway, just because he knows how to take that cinema experience and just take it to the next level with everything that he does. The acting was superb. I mean, the characters aren't exactly the most well developed, I would say, but at least he cast the right actors for the right roles to make them interesting. The stuff involving the time travel was awesome, especially with hand-to-hand combat and the action sequences that are large in scale. I mean, in the commercial we see the plane stunned quite a bit, and that's still awesome as well. It was the world building, especially in the first half, where I wasn't a fan of, because I thought that part was more confusing than it needed to, whereas with the time travel elements and them explaining it, that was actually pretty good to follow, I would say. But we can get more into that with our spoiler-filled thoughts, but that's just about as basic for me as it gets, is that I really enjoyed it.
So when we kept talking about them blowing up at 747, for some reason, I pictured a much bigger explosion and an explosion in the air. And so that's probably my only disappointment, is that they just crashed it into a building and it wasn't exploded in the air.
It's in the trailer, Cody.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you see it rolling.
I did watch the trailer.
Although
you have one job.
I wanted
You have one job to do, and that's watch trailers. That's all you do here on a daily basis.
We talked about the trailers on the podcast.
You lied about seeing the trailer.
Oh, yeah, I love that movie. I like the part where they did that thing, and it was super cool.
Guys and stuff. It was awesome.
Yeah, they were running, and they did the
you
things.
You are so full of it.
Well, I didn't see the trailer, and I thought, plane explosion, awesome. It's going to, go up and...
Then you're in the theater, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed. That's it.
Well, you watched 2 Christopher Nolan movies, so you probably saw the awesome plane dismantling in Dark Knight Rises. The beginning action teaser with
True.
So that
sets it up too
that
high.
sets a pretty big tone for this.
You're trying to catch me, but I have seen Dark Knight Rises before, and then I was going to pawn it off as a movie to see. I didn't watch it again.
All right.
But I do know what point you're talking about.
Back to Tenet.
Okay.
Okay. So what were your first thoughts, your quick review, Cody, about?
My first thoughts? I actually really enjoyed this film. I'm not a huge Christopher Nolan fan, so
until now.
And I hadn't
maybe.
seen the trailer, so I didn't really know what I was getting into.
Or an action movie fan, or a Robert Pattinson fan,
or a fan of trailers.
Yeah.
Apparently.
About the movie you're going to.
Sorry.
I like to go in blind and just feel the movie, not with any preconceived
she was actually
notions.
wearing her mask over her mouth, nose, and eyes during
It was
this,
just
surprisingly enough.
No.
It was a total face mask.
Yeah.
No, I super enjoyed it. I thought it was so well done, so creative. The action was amazing because, I mean, Christopher Nolan to me now is a genius. The way he had to create these sequences where you were seeing action happen in a linear time frame and then seeing the same action happening in the reverse, which is the inverted time frame, and happening all at the same time, to just choreograph that to be those two things coming together is just phenomenal. And it really hit me when we see John David Washington's character go through this vault, and at first, like, he comes across an inverted character and they're fighting hand to hand, but it's like all weird and twitchy, and then the inverted character will do some weird things with his feet, so you know something's off. It just doesn't feel natural and smooth and choreographed. It's definitely very off. But then, so that's early in the movie, and then later in the movie you see it, but the inverted coming from the other way, and it just makes so much sense. It like clicks in your mind why it does that.
Since we're in spoilers, it turns out it was himself. Whoa!
Yeah, whoa. He comes back and
Yeah.
he's the inverted guy from the thing. But anyways, that just the ability to have somebody like choreograph that action and see that sequence in his mind from like two different points of view and be able to shoot that on camera to make it cohesive. It was awesome. I was really blown away by that.
Well, it's even more surprising to me because I love Nolan, but one of his setbacks is hand-to-hand combat scenes. I don't think they're quite as good as they have been in previous movies, but he was able to really take it to another level to where I thought it was some of his most impressive work. Especially for, you know, those type of sequences where it's supposed to look off-putting and you don't know what's happening at first, but then, you know, it clicks, especially in, I'm just saying that, like, I totally agree with that.
In films, these time travel scenes or reverse action scenes are always, like, they draw your eye, but they're never more than a few seconds.
Yeah.
You see 4 or 5 seconds of a plane going from a reverse takeoff or something. You see something like that that's like kind of off-putting. You're like, oh, that's weird. Or you see the birds in this flying backwards, and you're like, oh, that's strange. But this was
that's a little odd.
This was 30 minutes of straight, like,
yeah, but it wasn't just
inverse
rewinding the action.
No, not rewinding it, but seeing it go against itself,
right.
Seeing the reverse go against the forward. Like, doing that on such a grand scale is just so impressive, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, beyond impressive. I don't know how you keep that straight.
Because he really shot it that way. That's what's the crazy part, is that it's not just shooting an action sequence and then reversing that footage backwards. Like, he choreographed it so that the action happening on basically the other side is happening in the same time, just in this, you know, inverted way. It's so hard to even explain. But it's not just like he shot the scene, then reversed the one, and then just rewound the one guy being like all the way back.
Or if he did, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So simple, it makes sense.
Do we have any complaints or drawbacks? First, we'll do the negative, and then we'll do all the glowing stuff.
I just want to talk all about what I liked. I told you the only negative was that they didn't blow up the plane bigger.
and Kyle
or in
had
the
the
air.
hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah. With negatives, I thought that my biggest takeaway was just some of the sound issues, and I think a lot of people have been starting to notice that too as the movie has come out.
I didn't think there were any sound issues. I'm not really sure what
the sound issues mostly come from dialogue.
You audiophiles.
Yeah.
I just found the dialogue to be much quieter than it really should have been, and normally with Nolan movies, like when it comes to, you know, background sound effects or like the score or, you know, whatnot, it's it's usually like really big and booming, which is great to have, especially if you're watching the theater. Because I know my theater was shaking for the first time in like years.
Right.
But I noticed more than it should that the dialogue was a lot more muted. Like it seemed like it was a lot quieter than it needed to. Like normally we see like all of his we hear all of his background noises, you know, kind of overtake the scenes a lot of the time. But I noticed it a lot more with Tenet to the point where it kind of bothered me. And it really took me out, especially in the first half of the movie where I'm trying to understand what this world is about to begin with. And I just would, I guess I would just like to hear their, you know, classic Nolan exposition dump explanations on, you know, what we're in for. And for that first half, like I just wasn't able to quite get into as much as I wanted to because of that.
Oh, see, I thought I didn't have an issue with the dialogue or the sound at all. And in fact, there was one scene in particular where they're touring those vaults and the tour guide is talking constantly, and Neil, Robert Pattinson's character, is following behind him getting the tour. And I noticed that the tour guide's volume would go in and out, but when it became more and you heard it better, I think that was very purposeful. I think you were supposed to hear those lines, and then it kind of like faded down a little bit, like you were hearing it at the attention of Neil, who was examining everything and picking up on the things he needed to hear from that guy. And I think you as the audience were purposely on hearing that as well. It's those same things.
No, I do agree with that. Like it was done where it is purposeful, exactly how you were saying it. But it's just in moments where I was noticing that was like direct face-to-face conversations where you clearly should be able to hear what they're saying to one another, and you're just not able to.
Right.
So, and for Nolan, you know, he's so particular with this type of thing. I thought like that's something like I just did not expect out of him, and I just was very
I'm gonna chalk it
curious.
up to the theater being rusty and not having it programmed probably correctly then.
I mean, I thought so too, especially with ours at first. Like I said, it's the first time I actually felt my seat shake in years, but
yeah.
I remember just asking around to other people I know that went to different theaters, and they thought the same thing.
So sound, small plane explosion. Ken, did you have any negatives?
That Robert Pattinson's character was like 9 different people during the movie.
What do you mean?
Explain.
In the first, he's like the drunk guide from Indiana Jones that's like, the rubies over here, always having cocktails during his day. Yeah. And then he's like jumping off of buildings, and all of a sudden he's a physicist. And
he's
then
a man of mystery.
Yeah, no, he that part. I mean, John David Washington is just a badass agent. Like that's what he does. Like everybody kind of has their own like formula they fall into, but he was just like one of everything.
He
like
was every man.
Every time you needed something, he had it.
And maybe that was his character.
And maybe it was, but it was just kind of like, whoa, okay. I thought eventually he was going to turn to a vampire and wrong movie.
Or at least reveal he's Batman. I don't know. It just
I'm Batman. Oh God, what turn did this take? All of a sudden, there's Batman in this too. No, that was the only thing that was kind of strange, where he would jump roles. But yes, it fits that character of the international man of mystery who can do all these things, who has traveled through time and inverse and all these things. Like he has that ability to do all these things. Now to the good stuff. There were so many good things. Yeah. The visuals, not the sound, at our theater. I'm sure it was great everywhere else.
Most likely.
The visuals, the casting, the directing, everything. I mean, obviously in a movie like this, the storyboards had to have been massive and intricate, and like every aspect of this was done as a $200 million movie should be done.
Yeah.
Like it was the best of the best as far as you could see. And we're post first wave pandemic here.
Yeah.
So we're into this.
You know what I thought was weird? It's not a negative. It just was weird. And I told Ken this afterwards. I was actually thrown a little because the movie opens at this opera house and everybody's filling in their seats and the orchestra is down below getting ready. And I just was like, we've been 6 months from massive gatherings. I'm like, we don't do this anymore. It was just a weird, like, this felt like it was from another time. That idea of all going to one place together, like the opera, and sitting in close proximity.
Yeah, I'm starting to get that feeling too when watching like shows or other movies. Like no
Yeah.
matter what the year is, I'm like, why are they so close? Move away! You could get sick with something. And
I
then I'm
know,
like,
you
wait,
gotta-
this is
You get
this
that
is
tinge.
ridiculous.
Like it's weird.
There's mix
Ugh.
of commercials now where people have masks on
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
television commercials, and the next commercial they don't, and you're like, why are you doing that? It's
Yeah.
an odd
You're
time to be.
doomed.
Eventually it'll go back to no masks and people will get comfortable with
Right.
the whole thing. But right
Yeah.
now it's just this weird in
That
between
was the-
time where things
Yeah, the
where you kind
opening
of
scene
clinch a
was
little.
that.
You're like, oh.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, those people together. And I'm like, what is being like is wrong with me that I'm being conditioned that that's not normal behavior. Like that to me wasn't normal anymore. That normal is we don't do that stuff. I'm like, oh, this
especially going to an opera house.
this virus
Alone, that's weird.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah.
like this virus has just really changed society, and it just a reflection in the movie even is crazy.
Yeah, the Opera House action teaser to be in the movie was just a long bitchin' teaser
Yeah.
to start the movie.
Oh my
just,
gosh.
It was
it went
awesome.
and went
Wait.
and went. Like normally you get 5 minutes, like 7 minutes is a long action teaser for a
Yeah.
movie. This is like 20 minutes of them just
Yeah.
running and breathing and shooting and
Wasn't the scene where they pumped the gas and everybody passed out just all at like dominoes all at once? Like awesome.
It was interesting to watch, but then knowing that they were spraying bullets into this crowd of people
Just-
who were
yeah.
unconscious, it was crazy.
It was
the
like,
whole
Like
idea
they're
of-
dead. They're dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they were hiding in this sea of people. And it's not something, I mean, obviously they're trying to bring new things to movies, but it's not something you've ever seen before where it's just a sea of human shields.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, and normally,
And then they were gonna just blow them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, normally, after a while,
Got to risk it to get the biscuit.
just after a while, like, an action scene or any sort of scene that drags out could get old real quick. And you're like, all right, let's move it along to the next thing. But I don't know. There was always moments throughout the movie where I was like, I'll just sit here comfortably and just watch this unfold. Because I
Yeah.
know, because I just have that trust with Nolan that he knows, I don't know, like he just knows how to edit the movie and film the movie just right to where it's like the perfect amount of time.
Oh, the pace was great in it.
Pace is great. Like he knows how to keep you invested. Like even in his classic exposition dumb moments, like when characters like really explain and they just rattle on and on, I'm still interested. Like that happens in Inception, Interstellar.
Right.
You have to be, though, to
Right.
catch
You
the
have to
movie.
be like,
Yeah, he keeps you so confused on the events
looking
unfolding that you're
for-
looking for clarification in those, and so you're just so like avidly interested in what the characters are saying because you're trying to explain the action that you're watching.
and most directors can't get away with that.
no,
Like Nolan is one of the few that can, and that's why he does it. He's like,
Yeah.
I can make it interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to explain a ticking time bomb or an explosion, but in his movies you do.
Yeah.
Because there's so much involved with them.
Let me tell you this whole backstory.
Yeah. But you have to pick it up. The casting, it was, A plus list everywhere.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
Michael Caine showed up for like a 5-minute cameo. I was like, oh, okay, this is the whole thing now.
His roles are starting to diminish more and more, but he always has to find, or
Yeah.
Nolan has to always find a way
The
to get
spot for
Kane
him.
involved.
yeah,
For John David Washington being in, not a role like this before, this was
He
a
was
big
so
deal, and
good.
he killed it.
Yeah, I think he's a movie star. I mean, if we had that label still,
Right.
we don't really have that in these times anymore, but that's what a movie star is, and that was what John David Washington was proving it.
well,
I mean,
he can definitely carry that action star role.
yeah,
Like he could be the next Bond. He had that charisma and that.
this
that
was
feel.
Nolan's Bond.
He's
movie.
Yeah,
He's
it was Nolan's Bond
That's
movie.
what it is, but with time wacky.
Yeah, his
that
version,
stuff.
but it very much felt like a Bond movie.
Yeah, for sure.
It did. Bond movies are pretty straightforward. There's a couple little like corkscrews they put in there sometimes where it's like, oh, it's not that guy, it's this guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That girl's bad.
Yeah, but
they're
this
pretty.
one-
They're not that.
This
there's
one was
not that much
straightforward. It
intrigue.
had a villain. You knew the villain was
It was straightforward
trying to
and
destroy
straight
the-
backward.
yeah.
Like, this is
trying to
straightforward.
destroy the world, and they were trying to save it. Like it fundamentally was a pretty simple story. On top of all these layers of how you get there, but
Kyle and I are going to sit here quietly while you explain the story to everyone.
No,
This fundamentally simple story.
She's
it is good
If
guys,
you
bad guy
remove-
trying to destroy our time to change the future, and they've got to stop that destruction.
Yeah, I mean, if you remove the Nolan that's in this movie, it is almost a basic spy movie where the guy's having to save the world.
Yeah, and the really cool gadgets are this like inverter thing that changes time. You don't really like go back in time. You just
go backwards
in time.
That's going forwards.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I likened it to two ships sailing in the night, and then at one brief moment they cross paths, and I feel like
crash into each other.
Like go
parallel.
Okay. They cross paths, and then that is the sequence of this film is in that. So it starts out with events happening like ship A, and then it twists, and then you see events happening in ship B, and it all culminates in one point and in time where they either save the world or they don't.
I mean, that's the car scene in Tenet. It's pretty much that.
You think it's the car scene? I think it's that moment where where she's on the boat with him.
Oh, I just mean like how you're describing like two ships crossing in the night, or however you put it. Like it, I was thinking of that, but just with the cars in that action scene.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. The tipping point is the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I just thought so that's kind of how I likened it. But what threw Ken and I a little bit when we tried to talk about it later was when you find out at the very end that Neil doesn't take his piece of the weapon, and he gives it back, and he says, "I've got more to do," and stuff. So where was he in the linear time in the time frame there? Like, because he just walks off. Like, does he?
Maybe he's been going backwards the whole time.
Yeah, but I just didn't understand how he could get to that point and be the dead body still down.
I think he's
there.
I think he's about to get to that point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's happened for the John David Washington's character, who's named the protagonist. He doesn't even have a name.
Right.
I think he saw that already happen, but that hasn't happened for Pattinson's character yet, is my guess. But this is also a good example of why
it gets confusing.
Well, of why I want to see the movie again. And this is the same with all of Nolan's movies. Like, you're not going to get everything on the first try.
No.
Like, you have to go back and watch this repeatedly, which I would love to do. I'm hoping to do that.
We will do it. We need to go back and see it again.
And I'm going to make sure to pay attention to Pattinson's character a lot. Because, like, Ken's kind of right about his character. Like, he's 9 different people, and he's, he's very secretive. Like, you don't know a lot about him. But I'm wondering if, like, a second or third watching, I could be able to pick up things to where. So is
John David Washington like Optimus Prime and Robert Pattinson? No, Robert Pattinson's like Bumblebee, like his right hand man that does like the small workings and stuff, but the main hand in it all
I feel like there's something else
is
here
John David Washington.
You'd see something where Robert Pattinson is either interjected or there's some sort of Easter egg that brings him along where he is controlling everything moving through this. He knows that John David Washington in that opera house is a person that he needs to save because he needs to use him for something else.
But John David Washington's character talks about he's the protagonist. He's the one that that recruits him and sends him back. So I feel like in the end it's
maybe he trains his own master. Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be it. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean those types of things don't bother me when it comes to the confusion of this movie,
because it doesn't change the outcome. It really, our confusion over Neil's character in this, it doesn't change the outcome of that everybody was saved at that point in time like they were supposed to be.
Yeah, we still get satisfied with the end result of what this movie is supposed to be.
You don't have to understand all the parts because it doesn't change the overall outcome, which is still just really awesome to watch and ends on a good note with them saving our time's world.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. Did you guys like Pattinson?
He was great as the spy, as the...
He would make a great Robin. Just saying. awesome.
Or if they're doing a live action Lego Batman,
Or
because he's mini.
or if they need a new voice for Bumblebee or something.
He's so skinny.
Apparently,
He's so skinny. Yeah, or if they're making a Transformers version of this movie, apparently he'd be great. Use
According to-
Transformers.
I don't know
Cody.
why in my mind it just made a lot of sense in that moment.
fair enough, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny though, because when we were talking about the beginning scene in the opera house, I remember Ken making a point of just John David Washington showing up everyone with how athletic he is. Because he used to be a college football player.
He played college football, and he was in Ballers, so he went through NFL training camp for that. So I mean, he's a real athlete, not like a elite level, but I mean, good enough to fit in NFL teams on the field and things like that to make things look okay. And there's a couple of scenes where he's running through the opera house, or he's running in the desert battle, where it's like you see all the soldier actors behind him running, and then you see him running and like just losing them, just putting them in the dust, and it's like, oh, like he's not running for an actor, he's just running for an athlete, just putting these people behind him.
It's his normal jog.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
And
I saw that right away too, and I was like, man, this guy's cool.
Yeah, he was doing his best Sonic impression, just
Pretty
dusting
much.
these people.
You can hear the other actors behind him just just trying to keep up.
Yeah.
The mic's caught it by accident.
We're supposed to be running in sand right now.
No, again, David Washington is awesome. Like the guy's a movie star easily.
I also really like the concept of the future always knowing what you did. Like they said, it can't have any electronic communications. You can't have phone calls and stuff. But, you know, people take notes. And if something goes bad, they'll investigate it. And those investigation notes will be. So the future will always have a record of the past to a certain extent. And they can always know. That's what makes this so difficult for the people trying to get ahead, a few moves ahead of the bad guy, Andre, because he's always getting fed information from the future. And even if they don't email each other the plan, you have to assume that the future will still figure out what went wrong if they change it, and then send something to be there to stop that. And so you're always at a disadvantage that your maneuver, it's like somebody reading your mind before you make your move.
Yeah, they explained that too in the beginning when they were messing around with the bullet. Like there's an instinctual quality to all of these objects, and if you can wrap your head around that, then you're able to do that. I'd like see that. And I felt like that's more of why he showed up in the last scene to take care of the people who were going to assassinate the woman. Yeah. Like he didn't even need the message at that point. Like he's able to read and feel all these things at a certain point. Like he is Neo. Like
he is the protagonist.
He is the one that can read, you know, the matrix on this. Like he knows, he has that instinctual feeling about all this.
But if you had the ability, like, to go back in history and change events,
I would look at people in the shower.
No, well, like we knew, like, you know, when
Zagging instead of zigging.
When Lincoln got assassinated, that, you know, it's been like kind of research, and you know that John Wilkes Booth, the way he came in and did all that. If you could send somebody back and change that to change the course of history, like we in the future have that benefit of hindsight, and that idea of hindsight, not having that to counter an enemy, is just, that would make the movie so much more interesting to me.
Yeah.
But then that wouldn't be the basic spy story.
Yeah.
No.
Then you get into like Jean-Claude Van Damme's Time Cop or something, where you're trying to just do the basic, like, can we undo something that's already been done?
Yeah.
Does it change the future? Like, then you become that. It becomes Back to the Future 2. When you're just dealing with these weird paradoxical things, and not just the idea of the action in this one chain of events. Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. What do you think of, like, did you guys like the idea of those rotating chambers being how they send people through inversion? Yeah. Did you like that concept?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Visually, it made a lot of sense having that.
to make it a physical object and not something magical.
Right.
Necessarily. It's just and it was a cool set piece.
Right.
That you really transitioned. Like every time they went in, you saw them rotate through and come out the other side.
Right.
And it was like they went into a separate room or for some reason a channel that you can't come in the other direction from. And it was very like laid out to explain that situation. Like you said, Nolan can get away with those things. If somebody else did that, it'd be like, no, you can't do that.
Oh yeah. And Nolan's like, well, I can, watch me.
Well, it's just the idea that you're going through linear and then you turn around and go back the other way. So I think that anything visually that you can see make that turn. So even if it wasn't just the turnstile like that was, but it could have flipped you around or done anything, I think helped visually tell you that they have made a change and they're heading the other direction.
Yeah, instead of like Ken was saying, it being something magical where just like blip blip, like you just disappear or something like that. No, I agree.
Yeah, having it be something that was fixed in these locations and not a DeLorean or a phone booth or
time watch. I don't know. That's a thing in something, I'm sure.
Yeah. The time watch.
Like I said, any other director would have done that, but Nolan, he thinks of this stuff much better.
But they're all fixed pieces that you have to go to and protect, and that was the best way to do it, I think.
Oh wait, Endgame did a time watch.
That's right.
They kind of did do that. Okay. There we go.
Send you back.
All right, got myself there.
They told you how long they had, right? An Endgame.
Yeah, it counted backwards.
Yeah. It was an X amount of time. I don't remember now, but
I liked some of the other details too in scenes where you knew something was going to happen and you'd hope they address, like when they're in the desert and they're running to the tunnel to go down because they were the one squad, and the Humvee comes up and is like honking its horn. I'm like, oh, that's a good guy trying to warn them, because nobody would be honking their horn; they'd be running them down.
Yeah,
it was bad.
There was honking the horn. There was Robert Pattinson pulling the face mask off.
Yeah.
The what you
that
thought was an antagonist, and I mean, very egregiously showing you that was someone who was not an antagonist.
Right.
Like showing you someone was
there to help. That was probably the one part where I was like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I know what's going to happen in this Nolan movie.
I know who that is.
So that was that one part where I was like, wow, I feel like Christopher Nolan right now.
He just wanted to open the door for you a little bit.
He's like, I'll give you a boost,
you know,
buddy.
that
you can't reach the window here. I'll give you a lift.
You know the car scene where they've got the case in the car and stuff?
Yeah.
On John David Washington's rearview mirror, there was a bullet hole. And I was like, how did that get there? That's going to be an inverse thing. We're going to see that later.
Yeah.
And then later you see it like come back out and stuff. And I'm like, ooh, we're going to get that. So there were like those little things peppered throughout the movie that were fun.
Yeah. No, you definitely have to do a second watch and revisit your theater again.
I cannot wait for a second watch, actually, because there's so many things.
I'm going to savor this moment.
Yeah.
I love this Nolan movie. I want to go back again.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Did you think...
Where have you been all my life? Awooga, awooga.
Did you think that the little boy was Neil?
No.
No one thought that.
No.
I thought that. But then I thought, well, how did he...
But that's why. But Nolan wants you to think that. I don't know. But no, I didn't.
Like
that
he recruited
didn't
me
mind.
a long time ago. Because at the end, he goes, he's like, this is the beginning. He's like, or the end of a beautiful friendship. And so I thought, well, if it's really the beginning, maybe, and he's watching over her and this boy.
I think maybe that's just a fun intrigue line to put in to like extra confusion.
Well,
maybe I'm reading too much in that line.
It's not the boy. Don't.
He's like, because he said we had many.
Now it's in my head. Now I want to say that's true.
Now we had many adventures.
He never talked to the boy.
Yet.
The boy had a mother who was done being involved with a Russian arms dealer who's going to end the world.
You know, John David Washington's character is always coming back to see how they're doing.
Maybe he was Michael Caine, but younger.
Oh, crap. crap, now that's a good idea
Yes!
too.
No.
Nailed it.
But then again, you could be saying anything to me
Right.
as I'm really deciphering this movie,
Any-
and I'll be
I'm
like,
trying
you're
to think of
absolutely
another
right.
white British guy that was in the movie that I can pull out. He wasn't Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Which I wish I wasn't the biggest fan of Taylor Johnson's role. I don't know.
Is
I
he-
guess I was
who's
really
that one? Is he the guy at the end?
He was
Yeah,
the
the soldier.
military
the
guy,
soldier at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he did a good job, but I don't know. I guess
No, he
I like that
always-
actor a lot.
He
I was
always
hoping
looks.
for a larger
He always
role.
looks awkward to me.
Yeah, I could
Like,
see that.
He always fits weird in these most movies. He's just kind of off-putting for me. He's like a slightly like more built Paul Dano to me, where he just looks strange on screen.
Weird comparison, but all right. I never thought of it that way.
Kind of gangly, awkward, and
He's muscular but
He's
gangly.
super muscular.
yeah, but he's also like lanky in that way. Like he's like walking around like he's got octopus arms.
I don't even know how to describe that to our
Yeah.
listeners. What Ken
I
just
did my octopus Aaron Taylor Johnson impression. No, it was kind of a weird to see somebody else, because Christopher Nolan usually shies away from that, like interjecting people with names if he doesn't have to. Like,
I
if they're
didn't
not
even
title-
recognize him.
If they're title characters,
You're
he doesn't
saying
put them
that,
in.
but I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah, because you don't watch trailers. How would you recognize a guy if you hadn't been in any of his movies and hadn't
I
seen him in a
have
trailer?
seen him in movies. I have. He was
We're waiting.
Quicksilver,
All right.
and he died in that.
Right. Spoiler alert.
So he didn't get to come back.
Did you see it, or did you read
Yeah,
that spoiler?
He was saving the kids, and he got shot up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cody has seen another movie.
Whew, all right.
Put that on the list. She saw
No,
the
I'm trying to think
biggest
of the
movie,
one-
the second biggest movie of all time.
I'm trying to think of the one that he was in. That he played like the one superhero. I can't think of the name.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I do too.
I will look it up. Just don't say it. Don't think it- I keep wanting to say Knocked Up, but that's a Ron movie.
That is
What's
That's
it
the
called?
very wrong movie.
knocked up.
It's
with,
got
man, that would
Nicolas
be a
Cage
great
in it, and he
movie.
was the best part. He was the dad, and he was training his little girl, and it was Chloe Grace Moretz,
Moretz, but yeah.
Moretz, whatever. And
What's in
yeah,
the name?
what is that?
3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Kyle.
It's Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass. Okay, starts with a K.
Oh, you got closer.
Kick-Ass.
After I told you.
In Knocked Up, the K is silent. I don't know if it counts.
I just visually saw a K in my head. And I'm like, I know this starts with a K, but I cannot remember.
Knocked Up.
Do we have any more thoughts on Tenet then? Just convince everyone to go see it?
Yeah, and see it again because you will need to see it at least twice.
Yeah.
It was great. If you need to explain it to someone, I kind of
Right.
thought that maybe it was Inception without the additional set pieces, because they had people moving through time at different frequencies, and this was just all in one place at the same time, everybody moving through and around each other.
Nolan's movies will always be about time. He'll always find a way to use time in his movies.
Whether it's Inception with the different speeds of time, or Dark Knight Rises with the literal ticking time bomb in the movie.
Even Dunkirk, it's about three
Yes,
different
yes.
times in one war, and then they all just coincide with each other.
I didn't even consider that.
Like I was just going through his movies. I was like, what one hasn't he had? And I was like, Dunkirk. And I was like, wait, shoot, no, he does use time there.
Memento was no short-term memory,
Yeah,
time issues. Yeah, so it's
Interstellar had a timeline
It was
plot.
only
yeah.
about time. Yeah,
Oh yeah, he loves clocks. That's just at the end of the day, Nolan loves clocks.
it's a clock enthusiast.
He's a clock enthusiast.
Christopher Nolan, director, clock enthusiast.
Has never met a clock he didn't enjoy.
Yeah. No, I would just say that on top of all the fun things we talked about Tenet, how amazing it was to just go back to the theater, go in, get your concessions, find your seat, have the house lights go down, darkness descends, and like all of the worries, everything going on outside of that room in that moment just washes away, and you're just involved in that story. I just really miss that feeling, and it was to me the best feeling ever. Just such a relief, and I didn't realize how much I needed that escape, and I wish I had had that this whole virus. Really, I just needed the escape so bad.
Just to center yourself and know
Yeah.
what you do everything you do for, like to get an idea of what that's like again.
I just felt so good coming out of that. Like for a short time, I was in this other kind of world, and all of the trivial things happening in our world didn't matter. I was more worried about time and space and saving lives, and that was just really fun to live in that for a while. And then even though I had a mask on, even though the things of this virus and this outside world were penetrating into that experience,
Trickled back in.
yeah, I still didn't notice it. Like I once the house lights go down and that screen comes on, I just didn't even notice, and I just loved that.
Yeah, I definitely got that more than I did for Unhinged, which, no offense to Solstice, like I had a great time with Unhinged, but
it wasn't a thinker.
It wasn't a thinker, but I don't know. I just got that. I definitely felt more of that relief where I'm like, oh, a movie I've been waiting for, and it started, and it's nice, and yeah.
I don't know what to expect, and
yeah,
it's an original story, and
yep.
Man, I mean, it was just.
What's that? My seat is shaking?
Yeah. Films provide.
Sounds great.
Have always provided that escape, but now that was always kind of what people said. Movies are an escape. That's how people escape.
That phrase has been so overused.
But maybe that wasn't the case before. Maybe it was just entertainment before. But everybody going back now, it's a literal escape.
Yep.
From this crazy, crazy world we're living in. It's in this movie above everything else we've been able to put on screen so far. Like this one is literally an escape. When's the last time you came out of a movie like discussing it?
Yeah.
Really think like without just being like, that was an hour and a half, that was 2 hours, and now I'm checking my phone, checking my stuff. You're like, Cody walks out, she's like, it was the boy. He's the boy. And I'm like, he's not the boy.
I know. We had to talk about it. And it was fun. It was fun to dissect it. It was fun to dissect it here the next day. Here we are. Like, we were waiting forever to talk to Kyle.
Really? Forever?
Forever. Because Drew was listening. We didn't want to spoil it for him.
No, for sure. And I watched it on Monday, so I totally was not waiting a long time. I totally agree with everything you guys are saying.
So what are the hashtags for all of the cleaning and sanitizing in NATO theaters? It's hashtag CinemaSafe, hashtag local theater. There was some
hashtag Save Our Cinema.
Save Our Cinemas.
That's another big one.
Yeah.
Which people should still do.
Right.
Wagging the finger for people who can't see, which is everyone.
Hashtag Off the Break Podcast. Hashtag Ken is the best one. Hashtag
No way, Kyle's the best one. Oh, guys.
Oh, man. Somebody's outside the window screaming for Kyle.
Our fans are screaming out the window.
It's like Good Morning America there for a second. They got a sign.
Let's hear the fans. Good. No, it was awesome. It felt great to be back.
Yeah, and Cody
much needed.
Cody liked a Christopher Nolan movie, so it was like,
goodness, what?
I know.
What time travel backwards world are we living in?
Yeah, literally. She walked through an inverter.
It took him 9 movies or whatever, however many he's done to get his pinnacle movie out there. Save the cinema. Best Christopher Nolan movie ever made.
Go once, go again. Take friends. Sit apart if you have to.
Yeah.
do what you have to do to support this movie because
when I go to the movie, I don't even notice who I'm sitting next to. So really,
I wouldn't. Is that true, Ken?
That's 1,000% true.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't notice if you got up and left.
I don't know how many movies I've fallen asleep during, taken kids to the bathroom during, done these things, and Cody is like, I come back and sit in my seat. She's like, "Did you just move?"
I will not notice. I am so absorbed in what's going on that I would be fine if nobody sat around me.
That is good for most people and not good for Ken, who has to hold down the fort, apparently.
Yep.
Hashtag hold down the fort.
So now that you're a Nolan fan, didn't you watch 2 other Nolan movies for Cody's Classic Corner?
Sort of.
Kyle with the transition. Nailed it.
I learned from Ken.
Carrie Strug at the 96 Olympics. Boom! Nailed it.
I watched one, and I was pretty sure I had...
How many?
I watched one.
How many were you required to watch?
Out of the 2.
2.
Oof.
Punishment forthcoming.
Okay, we will talk that later. Let's get... I saw Dark Knight. And I had not seen. I've always, Yeah, that's the one I watched, Dark Knight.
Oh, yeah, you haven't seen that. That's right.
Right.
Okay.
So I thought I had not watched any Christopher Nolan Batman movies, but I have seen so much of the third one that I'm going to count that I've seen it.
What does that mean that you've seen so much of the third one?
Well, I saw...
Like clips on YouTube or...
No, it's because she lives with someone who appreciates film.
So I've watched
and
like
I've
a little
watched
bit of
it,
it.
and then she walks in, she's like, what's this part? Who's that guy? And then walks away.
No, and then I watch it a little bit, and then I walk away. So I pretty much seen like...
So he dresses like a bat?
I've pretty much seen that movie.
Yeah.
You could ask me a lot about it, and I think I would know.
Okay. Well, we'll play that game at a different date. So what did you think of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight?
Dark Knight. That's one I wanted to watch because it's his highest rated on Rotten Tomatoes film, and it has Heath Ledger's Joker, which everybody's talked about, and I've never once seen. So I was like, maybe I should watch this movie and see what everybody's talking about. And it was good. Yeah, it was enjoyable. It was not as good as Tenet. I thought the Batman voice, I know he's trying to disguise his voice as Batman, but man, that what do we do here? The voice is so annoying. I just cringe. I cannot stand it. I'm like, just talk normal. Just talk normal.
Christian Bale's normal voice with his heavy accent or his American accent?
Either one would be good.
Can you imagine if he did his actual British voice as Batman?
Oh,
he could do a thick Cockney British accent. It would probably disguise his voice just as good as that
really
grumbly
would not
voice.
know who this guy is.
Yeah.
Some Cockney guy dressed up as Batman just attacked me.
Yeah, they would not think it's Bruce Wayne. So, and that's the point. You're trying to keep your Bruce Wayne identity secret. So, so that part was annoying. I liked how the Batmobile and the Batmotorcycle. The Batmotorcycle was really awesome.
Made for cool toys.
Oh my gosh, that thing was cool. And Heath Ledger's Joker was scary, and he had a great laugh, and that did not look like Heath Ledger at all. And you forget that Heath Ledger was only like late 20s in that. He looked so old, and and he was scary, and it was sad how his Rachel died in it and stuff. He just missed her, and she died thinking that she had left him that letter because she didn't know that Alfred burned it, and then he didn't come for her, and it's like realization hit, and she's like, oh, okay. And her last thoughts had to have been like, he didn't come for, he did, and then bam, blew up.
Yep. Big turning point.
Yeah.
Corrupted the last good man of Gotham in Harvey Dent.
Yeah. I thought that Harvey's Two-Face makeup, like CGI thing was so unbelievable because that eyeball would not have survived, and it wouldn't be just out there and not dried out, crusted over, and that thing was gross. So he would have been so much better if he was just missing that eye. I would feel like that was more
just
believable.
Yeah,
just a big hole, and then you could see through to his mouth because people do have that where they pierce and make holes so you can see into their mouth. They gauge out a hole in their cheek. So that would be believable, but the eyeball, I was like, just get rid of that eye.
So you're looking forward to the more Tommy Lee Jones acid dipped face.
Now that was realistic.
Yeah, it was.
His purple face.
His purple face. I liked Tommy Lee Jones.
That must have been a lot of money that he got for that movie. Man.
That was before he was grumpy.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
There was nobody in that movie that didn't make bank.
I was gonna. Yeah, that's true. They brought out the dump trucks anyway.
Yeah.
I'll take good though. You thought it was good?
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I'm just happy you finally saw it.
I can see why everybody's like, "Whoa, Heath Ledger was so good in that."
Yeah,
because he really was the best part, I think.
Oh yeah, almost. Well, I was about to say carries the whole movie. Maybe that. Well, I don't know. I don't think that's too far of a stretch to say that he probably could have carried or was carrying. It's
so
that
much
movie.
About him that I don't.
The
he is
around the character.
And he's such an agent of all the events that take place in the film, so you can't really. Everybody else is kind of inconsequential compared to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we are going to assign punishments first, or we want to hear Kyle's?
We got to hear Kyle's Just Friends with Fat Suit Ryan Reynolds. How was it?
I had a great time with this movie.
And Anna Faris being crazy.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've actually laughed as hard as I did in a comedy. It's been quite a while, and
Really?
Yeah.
You're not just being sarcastic
no,
here.
like I genuinely was having a lot of laugh out loud moments, and it wasn't even for like the most obvious of jokes. It was just
Yeah.
for like even the most subtlest of things. Like there's a joke where Reynolds is on like the private jet with Anna Faris, who's like the pop star, crazy
Yeah.
pop star, and she moves from her seat to the microwave to put in some food, and she goes, "Isn't it great that we're together?" And just subtly, like you can almost barely hear him, but he's like, "Yeah, you're the worst."
And then she blows up the airplane
Yeah.
because she puts aluminum foil in the microwave.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, the humor just got me. Ryan Reynolds is just so funny.
He is really funny in that. That was early in his career movie after Van
Just
Wilder.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, and I love Anna Faris, so that movie has always been kind of special.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of special.
Kind of special.
Yeah.
Did your girlfriend watch it with you?
No, she's
Oh.
seen it already, and she said like she didn't really like it all that much.
Blasphemy.
Weirdly enough, though, when I was telling her that I was watching Just Friends, she was like, "My brother says like that's one of his favorite movies," and I'm like, "Really? Like that's one of his favorite?" And she's like, "Yeah. Well, his favorite movie is The Proposal, but." And I was like, "All right."
Oh, I love The Proposal. Have you seen that one?
No, I think you've asked me that before.
Have you seen 2 Weeks Notice?
With who? Who's in that one?
Who is it, Cody? Who is it?
I wasn't trying to do
While,
it.
No,
while you're
I wasn't trying to do it.
while
Hold
you're
on.
I promise.
screaming at your iPhone right now, Cody, everyone knows who's in this movie
Except for Kyle.
except for
apparently.
Cody. Well,
No,
Cody
it's-
says is saying she's seen it now. It's Hugh
And
Grant
now-
and Sandra Bullock.
Thank you. I know who it is.
I know
just
who it
don't,
is.
And the,
I have the
I don't remember the
face.
names, and that sucks. I'm like, she's in Speed, and he's in other movies. I can't think of right now.
Let's keep naming things, Cody, to make it better.
Digging the hole deeper, folks.
Oh, that's so bad. I
Would you like a
didn't
shovel?
know. Please. I could just bury myself out of this conversation.
Oh goodness.
So Kyle, it sounds like you enjoyed a movie off Cody's list that
I
was not
did.
chosen by Ken.
Whoa.
did.
Crazy.
I'm surprised.
I
But it's
know.
Ryan Reynolds, and he plays his shtick character that he normally
it's
does.
like a meaner shtick character too.
Yeah.
Like the entire time, I'm almost like, this girl has no reason to fall in love with this guy.
No.
Like like past history aside, like you do not need to go back to him.
No.
And like during the movie, I honestly did not understand like why she suddenly was falling for him, because he was just like the worst the whole time. But
Yeah, but she's stupid. That's why.
yep, that's a good point. Didn't think of it that way.
Nailed her character.
Yeah.
Dumb as
Play
opposed.
Dumb.
Yep.
No, I still enjoyed it anyway. Like the laughs like outweighed my thoughts on like the story.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yay. Score 1 for Cody. 1 out of like 100.
And many more movies to go.
Yeah.
Do you want me to watch The Proposal or 2 Weeks Notice?
Well, I'm wondering if we should do a Ryan Reynolds rom-com thing or a Sandra Bullock rom-com thing,
That's fine.
or
Well, I think
I should.
Kyle's girlfriend's brother suggested The Proposal, so I think
Yeah.
we go with that. I think that seems like a perfect choice
That's pretty good.
because
Yeah.
your
All right.
punishment was
What
was
was it?
suggested by one of our newest fans
Yeah.
because you couldn't sit and watch Christopher Nolan, one of the
Yeah,
acclaimed
I wanted
directors of our
to.
time.
We just got busy this week. It's hard to find like 3 hours. That's why I like an hour and a
Never
half.
touch a fast forward button during a movie, do you? Huh? Full 3 hours, huh?
No. I never watch it at 1.5 speed.
So
either.
since you went to Tenet and enjoyed it and are doing
Yeah.
shout outs for it right now, trying to get people to go see it, you're done with Christopher Nolan.
No, I want it. I do want to watch Interstellar because that's his lowest rated one.
Do it on your own time.
Okay. I'll report back.
Along with your AFI 100 movie, which you will be choosing on your own,
Okay.
you are required to watch the film Amelie.
Oh no.
Big oof.
Total punishment here.
Man.
Yep.
Man.
I know. It's gonna be tough.
That's the
But that's
name
what you
of the
get.
game.
That's the name of the game here. It's not fun if you don't actually get punished for this.
Well, not fun for Ken anyway.
Yeah.
Kyle enjoys it too. Don't sit here and pretend like don't sit here and pretend like you're an
Hopping
innocent
up and down
bystander.
my seat, clapping.
Kyle's the monkey with the cymbals over here. Yay! Make her watch it. I can't tell her to do it, but Ken can. Yay!
Fine. Guess what we're watching at the cabin this weekend
Sounds great. I'm in.
with everybody.
I will have so many drinks. I am so excited to start this weekend.
Let's get this weekend going already.
All right. Ready to wrap this guy up?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Cody's got 3 movies to watch. Kyle's
What
got
are
his
my 3 movies?
a Christopher Nolan movie that you're going to watch
Oh,
because
yeah.
you volunteered to watch it.
Yep.
Oof.
Amelie, and then one of our AFI Top 100 lists, so you can get through this
Ooh,
bad
what
boy.
am I going to pick? Where's our list?
You can watch Butch Cassidy again.
No, thank you. No, thank you. That was so boring.
Chinatown with Jack Nicholson. The Godfather, Part 1 or Part 2.
No, thank you. I don't think part 2's on here.
I think they may have included it as part of Part 1.
Oh, really? They were like, it counts.
It counts. We also don't count Part 3.
Apparently, like, there's gonna be like a new cut of Part 3. I thought I read
A
that.
Part
somewhere.
3 re-release recut,
Yeah.
which Part 3 just needs to go away. It was like a legal real estate movie.
Yeah,
Like, it was,
I don't know what to tell you, man. That's just I'm just spreading the news.
I know. I saw that too, and I was like, I mean, I know they recut 1 and 2 when they digitally remastered them, but just do it again.
Yeah.
Just recut 1 and 2 again. Like 3 just needs to go
We'll
away.
still get it.
I want to watch
anyway.
Casablanca.
Oh, beautiful.
Did you not see that one already?
Mm-mm.
Kyle, she started with like 15 of these off
Yeah.
this list.
Yeah.
That I thought I'd seen, but I'm going back and I'm going to actually watch them.
All right.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Yep.
A classic.
A classic.
All right.
'Kay.
So that's it.
And Kyle's watching The Proposal.
The Proposal.
All-time romantic classic.
Yeah.
Craig T. Nelson classic.
Not the baby blanket.
All right.
Okay. Well, everyone.
Not the baby maker. That's what it was.
If there was anyone watching to our spoiler-filled talk about Tenet, thank you for sticking around.
Yeah.
And just in general, thanks for listening to this podcast. You can find us on all podcast platforms and at silverscreeninsider.com, where if you're a theater owner or manager needing of upcoming supplies from the studios, we got you covered. They're all available there.
Yep. Have a good
great
weekend.
long weekend,
Yep.
everybody.
It's Labor
Happy
Day
Labor
weekend. Enjoy it.
Go see a movie like Tenet.
Like Tenet.
And mostly
Twice.
just Tenet.
Go see it.
Bye.
You need to. Bye.